So, Rishi, Yash, Mumzy, Sukriti, I am totally ecstatic to be in conversation with you all today. I think Yash and Rishi, we've had like one-on-ones before, but I think Sukriti and Mumzy, this is the first time I'm speaking with you guys. So, firstly, a huge welcome to you all on Filme Shilmy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And the heartiest congratulations on Galat Ho Geya as well. And I think Rishi, beginning with you, where where and how did the concept of Galat Ho Geya happen? How did it all sort of transpire?
Um, well, actually, about 2 years ago, I think it was two and a half years ago, myself,
Yeah.
Sukriti, Yash were in this room,
Okay.
and we just, we sometimes when we meet up, we just jam, we just hang out, and we had this song. We didn't have anything actually. We just started making melodies. I started putting some music down, and these guys came up with this beautiful kind of melody for Galat. I didn't have the music done, and I just said, let's just record it. So we recorded it. At that time, we had some dummy lyrics, so we brought Kunal Verma in to kind of write some lyrics afterwards.
Yeah.
Then I did the music. And we all loved it. And then it just sat on my drive. It
Okay.
literally sat on my drive. Then it was. I remember Badshaw came to the studio. Yash was here. He loved it.
Wow.
A few of the actor friends loved it for their film. But obviously, COVID hit. Plans changed in India, as you know.
Mm.
And then fast forward like nearly 3 years, I'm like, look, this song needs to come out, and I'm gonna put it out because I've had enough. So, and then the icing was like I said to Mumzy, because I've been working with Mumzy. I was like, I sent him the song. He goes, I love it. He sent me some vocals back, and I just put it together because I think the whole vibe of this was, like Sukriti Yash obviously being from Mumbai,
Mm.
and then Mumzy being from London. I'm from London. It was just a nice pick and mix
Yeah.
collaboration that came together.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's something which I really loved as well, is the fact that there was this amazing sort of collaboration that you all have had. And I think, Rishi, you've always been a champion for fresh talents. You've always sort of given an opportunity to new talents. And what sort of attributes and qualities do you kind of see in singers like Yash and Sukriti, who are doing so fab as well, I think, in their respective fields? So what sort of qualities do you see in them?
Well, I was a fan of Sukriti before I even met her, before I came to India, and obviously I know her sister, her elder sister, Akriti. So, when I came, it was really cool to work with both Sukriti and Prakriti. So it's I've always had that since I got to Mumbai. Yash being Yash, he was on Mere Dil Mein, and then he didn't leave my side, and then sometimes he disappears, and he's always going to be my. Yash is always going to be my. I have a soft spot for Yash, no matter what he does. I'll always take him back. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah, I mean these guys are fabulous. Like these. What I loved, and part of the parcel of me remaining in India was the fact that you could call any of these guys at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and they'll be in
Yeah.
the studio. You know what I mean? And the
Yeah.
hustle.
I would happily come. You've not done that in 2 years though. So we're waiting to come back in the studio and make some more music.
Yeah. But
Wonderful.
yeah, we work great together. We have a great
Yeah.
chemistry, and obviously myself and Mumsy have, we've got a history which is so before this. And that was my time before this, and now after. And Mumsy's gone on to become the Bangladeshi king of, UK.
That is very true. That is so true. In fact, I'm going to use that to segue actually into to getting Mumsy in the chat as well. I mean, Mumsy, your association with Rishi began since your initial days in the industry as well, and I think you both are very familiar with each other and the sort of work, and you obviously share a very close camaraderie as well. So how would you sort of describe this liaison that you have with Rishi? I mean, what is the sort of thing you love the most about him in terms of him as a music artist as well as a person?
Well, first of all, I think Rishi definitely holds the title of being our Timberland, our Scott Storch, he's for me, he's the one of the most dangerous producers who comes from our culture. Like,
Yeah.
literally, he can make anything. Dancehall, bashment, R&B, pop, and not a lot of people can do that, man. So straight away, working with Rishi was always like, it was on like you get the checklist,
Yeah.
from doing something in your life.
Yeah, bucket
And
list.
somehow, for me, that checklist happened 2005, and I just know when I work with Rishi, people need to move out the way. You know, like it's just there's gonna be fire. Because,
Right.
you know, it's just and obviously working with Yash and Sukriti, I was like my head was gone because I remember when Rishi showed Yash to me, I was like, bro, this guy's got some bad man vocals, feeling his vocals, and I think me and Sukriti spoke not like last year, and it was for a manager, and we just started talking as well. So it's crazy. Like I just feel Rishi is someone to overall, way to say it is he brings artists together. You know, he's very good at that. He doesn't look at your status. He doesn't look at where you're from or what you're about. He looks at you as an artist, and he really knows how to bring an artist out, and he's responsible for bad man talent out there. All the talents that come on, Rishi could just scroll it and go, yeah,
absolutely,
that was me.
It's true.
So I was gonna say how it is.
Absolutely, no, it's very true, and I think that kudos goes to him. You know, I think definitely, and I think that's something that I also kind of vouch for too. I think Yash as well. Funny enough, we actually had spoken recently for Kya Hua as well, which was quite a special song.
Right.
And I think it kind of I would say it's perhaps the meatiest song I think you've sung in terms of like your act, like portraying your caliber as a singer and giving you that sort of breakthrough in a sense.
Right.
So I think how important is it to have prominent figures like Rishi, like Mohit Suri, and all these other prominent faces in the film and music industry to give you that platform actually?
See, like RR said, the rest of the people are like, you can call them industry people, like you said. But for me and him, it's like it's quite like it's a different kind of a relationship. It's more of a mentor-student kind of a situation, because whatever I have learned as far as miking is concerned, singing, for recordings is concerned, rest everybody. What I realized is that I kept singing for various other people, and they would want you to come to the studio and not do a good job so that you can get replaced very easily. But with Rishi, the scene is he will be there, he'll make sure he grooms you, guides you, makes you understand tricks and understand what's to be done, so that everything sounds perfect. So me and him share a different kind of a relationship. So for me, having him around is like having like an older brother in the scene who understands everything much better than I do. And I am quite I'm a little off like that. I if I don't understand things, I just shut down. But like it's him who always gets me back out and do this, do that, and then and then everything like works according to that. I basically blindly listen to him. That's what it is. So it's obviously a great feeling to have somebody like him around, who's obviously a legend in whatever he's done. And yet, when we're talking to each other, it's not about like Rishi Rich talking to Yash Narvekar. It's basically it's like an older brother and a younger brother, sorting things out. Him guiding me and making sure I don't make stupid mistakes as far as my career is concerned, or as far as my vocals are concerned and stuff like that. So it's really it's kind of really convenient and really good to have him around.
Absolutely, very well said.
I'd want to sorry for cutting you, but I wanted to say about Mumzy is like when Rishi came down and he I think Mumzy's songs were one of the first artists songs that he played to me, and I still remember we were at his previous studio, the Dharamjot, which was Mohit Sir's place. And I had, at that point of time, I had told him that, we have to somehow, do a track with him. And I was a total fanboy moment, because I'd never seen someone, have that kind of a flow. He's got these two avatars as a vocalist, and, he does that R&B space also. Yeah. He's got that, different kind of a vibe also. So I was totally, and I'm so glad it took 3 years. But we finally got a track together. And as far as Sukriti is concerned, she's my homeboy. So we've come a long way as far as going. We've gone together to so many places to sing and get our songs done, and get our songs rejected or accepted, and various experiences we've had together. So I think this is like this combination is feels like home, man. It's great.
Dangerous.
Yes, absolutely. And I think Sukriti, sorry. I think the fact that Rishi obviously has known you for quite some time, and like you mentioned, so obviously it's obviously quite a very special experience, and I know for you to work with not only with
Yeah.
Rishi, but also with Yash and of course with Mumzy. So what did Galat Ho Geya mean to you as an artist? Doing the song and being a part of this whole experience.
So the first time I ever met Rishi was because of a movie recording, and I just remember that I got a call really late in the day, and I had to just go to his studio. And I was in an event, and I thought to myself that I'm going to leave everything and rush right now because I'm a big fan, and I need to go and I need to do a good job. And that's primarily how it happened. And I think Yash was with me throughout this whole time. So the first time I went and met him was in his studio, in the same studio in Bandra, and from there it kind of transpired into this thing where we would just sit and jam and have really no idea what we were doing, but we just knew we were having a good time in making music. And I really miss those times. I think this is in 2018 sometime. And Galat kind of just came out of there. Like I feel like every time I work with Rishi, it's just like he's the fastest producer I have ever worked with. So I mean, sometimes you have to go meet people, songs don't get completed in maybe a month, then you lose interest, you get bored, you forget about the song. But every time we'd sit together, it just, we would have like something to play after the end of the session. So it used to be super exciting. And as far as Galat Ho Geya is concerned, he made this really smashing drop, and the whole song just came together like it was just supposed to. And I think it's one of those things. I feel like if you're working on a song, if you can't kind of complete it in like 20 minutes or like an hour or the same day, I feel like it kind of feels stale to me. Galat was one of those songs that you just had it on the first day. We didn't have the lyrics, but we had the song. And I mean, it's kind of had its own journey, and coming from there, we were just behind the mic for like 20 minutes, I think, and then another 20 minutes he produced the whole thing, and we were hearing it back. And I remember going back home, and Yash was dropping me home, and we heard it like 20 times, and we were like, this is it, we love it, this is sounding so good, this needs to come out. And this is a conversation from I think 2 years ago now. And then Mumzy came on board. I think it was just all so aligned beautifully, and I love his music. And we were meant to work on something, and I would have never imagined that this is going to come together so beautifully. And I love his voice. I had no idea.
His voice is my favorite too. It's the favorite part of the song.
It's so good.
I love your
it's
voices.
So good.
I love his voice. I love Anuja's voice.
I love it.
Thank you.
It's so good.
Thank you. I feel honored that Mumzy loves my voice. Thank you, Mumzy. But no, I think that sounds wonderful.
Yeah. Rishi sent me the track like a couple of days back, and he said this is the final mix of Galat Ho Geya coming out. And that's the first time I heard his voice, and I'm like, oh, it just got even better. This is insane. And there was some changes on the drop. So yes, I am very, very grateful because I've had a conversation with Rishi and Yash about this song. So yeah, now it's finally everybody else's, and we can have fun.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Sukriti. So I think just moving on,
yes.
Mumzy, I think it would be wonderful if you could feel a bit of your vibe, your bad boy vibe,
Ready, yeah?
Yes, please. Would you be able to do something for us?
Yeah, let's do this. So I'm going to try to remember the lyrics. It's quite old. It's called Let's Party. It goes, Mumzy bad man, yes, I'm a stamina man. Y'all wanna try flex up in maximum. I got microphone, we should get with them and drum. I watch the way I mash up the bubble version. I got a phone call from my boy telling me they need an MC for a party on my street. Got my microphone anyway, if it's on me. Thinking about the way I'm gonna strum this beat. So listen to me go. Mumzy step on the mic, I'm gonna do your tongue. Oh, move it up, dip it up, dip it up. Yeah, you're gonna party with me now tonight. Cause I can see that you want me to come and gate crash your party. Your friends know it, but they don't know I'm the MC. I have to pull strings to get through. Baby, just to get next to you. And now I could try and get to know you. Tonight there's a party on tonight.
Whoa! Bravo!
Woo!
Bravo!
Fab.
That was truly
So good.
incredible. That was a brap sort of moment. Thank you so much for that.
We need to do that again, Rich. We need to work on that.
Yeah. That's my favorite song. That's the first song me and Mumzy did. It's called
Yes.
Actually, not second song.
Right.
It's really cool.
Oh, wonderful. I think it's I think it will definitely be very nostalgic, I think, for people watching this at home. I think moving on, folks, and sort of speaking a bit more about yourselves as individuals and as very, independent music artists as well. What are you most inspired by, and what sort of drives that creative prowess within you as artists? I think, Rishi, we'll begin with you.
What am I inspired by? I think just working with good people, good energy, good vibes. Don't really get involved in any drama, even though I have done. But I think it's a case of. I think it's a case of. I just think music. People can really hear through your music if you're honest, and I really believe that people can really hear. They can know about you. So my thing is just good vibes. Everyone that I work with. And I don't work with that many artists, but all the artists that I do work with have the same kind of karma and the same kind of vibe with good people, and I think artists inspire me. I think if any producer tells you different, I think I don't know, for me, being a producer, there's only so much I can make beats. I need an artist to be with me and say, actually do this. And I think that's the biggest thing and I always say, like, a producer, can be in the car, but the engine is the artist. It's that marriage, it's that producer artist marriage. So that's something. And I think also just having, making good records and seeing an artist flourish as well. When you work with an artist who's a new artist, and then years later they go and become their own, I think that's a big inspiration for you to do it again. So that's important.
Absolutely. Very well said.
I think the most important thing when I'm working with other people is, that we're on the same bandwidth of things. I feel like I really love working with people who love working hard. Like, that's really important to me because, I feel like that energy really matters. Like, if you work with people who are a little laid back sometimes, or, I feel like also something that's really important to me is, like, when I'm working, like, for example, Rishi, I feel like, when you work with him, he kind of brings out the best in you. And a lot of people don't do that. Like, a lot of people want to work with you sometimes, but they're not able to do that. So I feel like if you're working with a producer, if you're working with a music director, if, he or she can extract, like, the best out of you and, like, make you actually, do a good job and direct you and tell you exactly what they want, that's super important. I feel like, dream team creates dream work. I always believe in that. So, I think you really need to, be friends with the people you work with. That also brings out the best in you. So.
Yeah, I think I'm glad you mentioned about being friends. I mean, I think, Mumzy, you'll be able to vouch for this too, right? I mean, how important is it to kind of be friends and be on the same wavelength with the people you work with?
You know what? It's really important. Like, for me, it's been a crazy journey, but I feel that it's important to learn from each other and allow, like, when you're making a song in a studio, don't just be a know-it-all person. Just allow people to share their ideas, change lines, write the hook, do it together, because the biggest record in the world, you'll be surprised how many people are behind that one song. Everyone adds something. I learned this from Rishi. When I first met Rishi, I had a little setup. I didn't have much, to be honest. And when I met Rishi, I was like, whoa, his studio, the keyboard was like bigger than my car. Those things I've never seen in a studio ever in my life. And Rishi comes from an analog background. A lot of people don't know that. Like, he went from analog to digital. So he's had studios that were big, like big desks, big speakers. He's been there, done it. And I picked up on a lot, man. And one thing I learned from Rishi, which I've managed to do myself, is to pass on the knowledge, to teach what you've learned, learn how to vocal comp, learn how to have a certain vocal chain, learn how to sound. And again, it's that important advice, and carrying that on, that's the legacy, isn't it? The legacy is that you spread what you've learned and carry on. And bro, like I say how it is. When you're in studio with people, you're walking out with a banger tonight. I'm telling you.
Indeed. As they say, as they say, teamwork makes the dream work, and I think what you said there is completely befitting to that. Yash, because obviously I think you studied law, right? I remember we spoke at length about your background and how you got into music. So what sort of inspires you creatively?
Yeah.
What sort of gives you that sort of zing when it comes to music?
I think the most important feeling inside a studio is the feeling of security. Like any relationship, like anything like that, you need to feel secure. You need to feel like, you'll say something stupid and not make a fool out of yourself, even if you say something stupid, right? Because that's how so many times accidentally you come up with some great different ideas and stuff like that. And because because like we've spoken about it, because I come from a completely different background and stuff like that. When I got in, my only aim was to get work and find work. So I used to literally go anywhere and everywhere. Anybody or everybody would call me and I would just land up over there without having any self-worth or self-value or anything like that. And then cut to Rishi enters my life. So he has, I think, he's taught me a lot of things, even as far as, studio etiquette is concerned. And, like what is a good vibe to create music in, as far as those things are concerned, So I learned that from him, that he would all I did was, for the first 1 year, was I was just noticing him. I was just observing him. And what I realized was that we had the biggest of the biggest artists come into the studio. But if they would behave, and if they would not behave the way they should be behaving, or if they did anything off, that would completely put Rishi off and he would not work with them. Okay. And then cut to, he'll see some other artist who's a nobody, and he'll come in and he'll just see something about them and he'll be like, yeah, I want to do a song with this guy. So that's one very big thing, because out here, we are very starstruck. So even if we see somebody who's really big, but they're, really ill-mannered people, but we'll still suck up to them, because we think we'll get some work or we get something out of it. But this is what I learned from him, that, it does not matter who you're working with. You need to work with the right people, not talented or not great people. Someone with lesser talent in the room with you, but a better person, might end up creating something much more beautiful with you, rather than somebody who's really big and really talented and, thinks of you as nothing, So I really look at security as a very big thing. Everybody should feel secure in the studio. We should have good food coming in, everybody chilling, relaxing. And alongside, you end up making a song. It should be like that.
But I really remember, like, it used to be so much fun. We used to make a song, and if we made a good song, we'd go out to celebrate it, So I mean, it's like the small things like that. Like, we would really like take the work and play sometimes seriously, and it can just be so exhausting, working on the same thing for a couple of hours. Then we'd make it a point to go out and then come back and maybe resume it the next day. So I mean, things like that used to be so much fun, and I think they're super important also along the way.
Yeah, and me and Suku actually started off singing, and she started way before me, but we started off singing at that time where, still there was a little bit of a hangover of the 90s era. So, the studio sessions are extremely serious, and, the singer, if there's a new singer coming in, he or she should be completely petrified of the fact that they're getting to try a song which might change their life or whatever bullshit. Okay, so that situation, and then getting out of there and meeting someone like Rishi was so refreshing in itself that automatically all the good music started happening.
Honestly, I was so scared the first time I went to his studio, because I mean, there were so many people to begin with, and I was like, I need to crush this. And then I've gone on the mic, and I was so scared. I kept begging him, can I do another one? Can I do another one? He's like, you're fine. I'm like, but does he like me? Does he not? So I mean, and then after that, obviously, it grew like much more comfortable. But yeah, we've had some great times together.
I had to sit in a cafe for 3 hours.
Wow.
I had to wait for you. Then I got a text message, Google alert. You may come in the studio.
Oh, wow.
I got it good.
That is good. That is so incredible. But I think, you know what? I think, Yash, picking up on what you said, and I think this is a very interesting point I'd like to make here, because I feel like, as with the film industry, I feel like in the music industry too, especially in the Indian music industry, I feel like there's this whole notion of bhed jal, as in following successes. Like, for example, if a certain style of a song works, then you'll have so many other producers or composers make a similar style of song and try to emulate that for easy, quick success. Do you think that notion is changing now? I think Yash, we'll begin with you actually with this point actually.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if it will, because it's basic human tendency to, like to get inspired and do things. But the thing is that what we need to have is that certain kind of a discretion that, I'm getting inspired by a particular kind of a track, but that doesn't mean I'll use the exact same stems or use the same same samples or same stuff. I need to put a little bit of me in it. There's nothing wrong with following a trend. There's nothing wrong with that. And if I say that there is, then I'll be a hypocrite, because I've done that as well in life. We always look at somebody, you hear a song, you get inspired, and you make something. But now the whole catch is that what are you contributing to it? Because if you're just putting out the same thing, then that guy who actually did it the first time, that guy is still alive. So people rather go and listen to that track itself and not listen to A copy or a B copy. What changes the track is when you bring yourself into it in some way or the other. So even if there are so many times where even I hear a song and I really feel like, I want to make something like this. But then after it reaches like somewhere a 30-40% little production is done and little ideas have been put down, then I think it's not even, you don't even need to make a conscious effort, but just be yourself on the track and automatically it will be a little different. I just think that's important. Otherwise, getting inspired is very easy. Like, it's better that people are getting inspired these days. First, they were just straight away stealing,
Yeah, actually, actually, I have to agree with that. It's true. Rishi, I think coming on to you as well, in reference of the whole, Bhel Chal, the following, successful type of music emerging and stuff. I mean, how much are you affected by that, if at all?
The thing is, the one thing I've always said to producers is that if you have your own sound, if you have a sound, like there's certain producers. Put it this way: there's producers and then there's key producers. And if you have your own sound, you don't have to ever look at anyone else's sound. I get inspired by a lot of people, even by the new producers, the old school producers. But I have an overall sound, which is my sound. So I don't really need to go anywhere else to say, actually, you know what, this song was working, so I'm going to do something like this. I might say, actually, you know what, I liked what he did. I might adapt it or take a little inspiration but give it my own vibe, and that's how I do it. So that's how I've always done it.
Yes, exactly. No, very well said. I think also, Mumzy, since the pandemic and lockdown, I mean, I believe there's more onus now on independent creation and more artists sticking out individually because they've got their own platforms now. Have you also felt that shift as well? Have you also felt that sort of onus on you as well as an artist to sort of work on more music and get your work out more independently as well?
Yeah, bro. Like, to be honest, I kind of started that journey quite a long time ago, 2012.
Right.
And again, it's about the transition from being with a record label before for like years and not being transparent. Rishi's been there way more than me. He's seen way more than me. But I learned also from Rishi. Obviously, we've done things together. We've been through a mad journey. And I think one thing you can't change is transition. When things went from being physical sales to digital and then streaming, so things change. That's just life. Every year, something's new gonna come out. And the way it works, man, is if you don't understand the business, and some people want to understand the business, but they can't make the music. How can you have a business without a kitchen?
Yeah.
So
true.
My thing is that when it comes to producers, I've learned a lot from Rishi and so many people that I've managed to create my own studio and get my own engine running. And it's not because I want to produce everything myself. No. To have someone like Rishi on your side, it's like a gift, like a gift wrap.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult. It's difficult to have people like Rishi, and I've got a producer who I work with, DJ Lion. He's his own person. I like to have producers on my side, and it's not just for free. I want producers to be on my side just for content, just for a sound, just for more bounce in your music and more of an energy. The whole world does it. But my thing is now, like, being independent, it's a good thing and a bad thing. Like you have to juggle both. Like everyone's saying, A&Rs, record labels, are that. No, it's a two-way system. nothing's wrong and nothing's right. Like, you have to find your place. You know, if you can do both, great. If you could do one, you have to work really hard for it. And you need to appreciate the producers. And you need to work with the right producers and the right team and the right infrastructure. You can't just wake up and just put songs out. It doesn't, like, that can work for a one-hit wonder. Like, I'm just giving you an example. But there's no system there. Like, you need to, this is a real job, man. Like, you need to really put your hours in and your time in, and it could work and it can't work. Like, I don't know if you guys agree with what I'm saying, but it's difficult. Like, you have to really, really, really treat it like a profession.
Absolutely.
But now, like, I'm happy because things are transparent. I feel that the way you do things now is transparent. No one's upset. Everyone's happy. There's no, like, what for me it is, for the people I work with, but I just think that it's easier to handle business now than it was before. You know, like, everyone understands what they want everyone understands their role, and that helps being independent. It just helps. Yeah.
Very well said. And I think on a finalish note as well, I mean, you all are doing very fantastic in your respective fields. And I think it just makes me very happy to see such great talents sort of getting the opportunities they rightfully deserve and excelling in their respective fields too. What do you all see as your long-term goals and ambitions now? Be it professional and personal, feel free to share both. Sukriti, we'll begin with you.
I actually give this a lot of thought, and I mean, I'm just still a little unclear because I mean, the way the music industry looks to me every 6 months is different. So I keep wondering, you know, what really is the future for all of us. But I feel like from the time I actually started thinking about it, it's gotten way better. Lockdown did make things a lot better for us, actually, for everybody involved in music, because you know, I feel like everybody's attention span from, you know, maybe probably watching a movie for 3 hours has come down to 3 minutes and hearing a song instead. So things, you know, are looking good in terms of being an independent artist in today's time. But I feel like moving forward, obviously, you know, when I talk about independent and non-film music, I mean, I'm not a fan of the way non-film sounds. I just feel like it's music, all of it. But that's what we call it here. So non-film music, I mean, everybody would say that it's going to be the future, but it's already the present, you know, and I feel like it's always going to stay. Like a movie song or a non-film song is kind of on the same pedestal now, and you know, people really, really are into a lot of genres. So I feel like, you know, tomorrow if I want to start singing I don't know, melodic techno, there is an audience for that as well. So I feel like moving forward for me as a goal is to constantly keep reinventing myself. And not just be doing the kind of music that I'm doing right now. Like what comes to me naturally is R&B, you know, 90s, that kind of music. And a lot of, I mean, obviously I sing for Bollywood also, so that just technically comes into the picture. But I feel like going forward, I just want to keep reinventing and collaborating. I think that's very, very important. Just want to have as many collaborations as possible. I feel like music is nothing without that. You know, I feel like two people need to come together. Like this project, for example, it's got so many people, and that's what makes it so special. Indeed. So yes, a lot of collaborations. That's what I'm going to work for.
Lovely, wonderful.
I don't know. I mean, I'm getting into scoring. Like I said, I'm scoring this new Netflix drama that I'm working in, and some scoring is something that I've naturally wanted to get into as being a musician.
Yeah.
And I think just as well, just working with new artists, you know, working with putting people together that maybe shouldn't really work. But when you put them together, I love that, you know. So I think for me, it's just I just want to keep on making music, just always be enjoying. When I stop enjoying music, making it, then I want to have a bar on a beach.
I'm joining you.
That's it.
Love it. We're joining you, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's it. I actually just want to sit behind the bar, I'll probably listen to my own music for the last 20 years, and all my friends will be there.
Got enough music, bro.
Exactly. I think what Sukriti said is important is the fact that, you know, music industry is changing. So you have to enjoy every minute of what you do. You know, you have to really have fun with your work. You know, I've learned being in this industry for so long, not like you got to be built like a stone. Really, you have to,
Yeah.
because you've got to enjoy your music. No one should ever tell you what to do, especially when you're in this room. When you enter a room like this or a studio, everything's out. You make the music you want to make, and I believe that there's one side the industry is very cutthroat, and I see that so many artists are getting so down and like really don't know where they want to go. So I guess for me, being a producer, I'm just there to make sure that I can work with as many artists as possible, and just keep the scene alive. I think the whole vibe that what we're trying to do is, like on this track especially, it's got this UK India flavor, and I think that's music's international now. So
Yeah.
so that's it. Just to keep good vibes going, man.
Absolutely.
To be honest, I've got a huge interest in fashion and food.
Oh.
So
Wow.
yeah, because Rishi knows me from young. I've always ripped jeans and I've always wore crazy clothes. So, like, I've always been involved in dressing a certain way, and my cupboard is like crazy. I've got so much clothes and like I take a big interest in that. So I would like to kind of do like a clothing line or something cool. I've got like quite a lot of designs. So I would like to launch something in the clothing line if I can, when I can, and possibly do something in food because I cook. Like if I wasn't a singer, I'd be a chef.
That's
really
so cool.
Yeah, I'll be a
Love
chef.
it. Love both. Fashion
You can all
and food.
eat in my house.
That's a good
When you
mix.
come to London, you're all eating in my house. Like,
Done.
Oh,
We're planning
love this.
already.
I'm Bangladeshi, so cooking was a thing. So they're like more like my passion things that I would like to do away from music. I feel that it helps me meditate and it helps me switch off from the digital world.
Of course.
Otherwise, I'm gonna take over the world, bruv. All I'm saying, yeah.
Love it.
Music coming. I'm collaborating with my big brother there. Sukriti here. We've got Yash here. We've got you as well, bruv. Freezing every minute. But I'm saying that right now, honestly, it's the best time to be releasing music. Now. Yeah? Everyone's watching us. Come on.
Yeah.
You just done a track with Dua Lipa. Are you feeling all right? You know how big
Yeah,
that
I
is?
cannot.
Are
I
you feeling
cannot.
all right? Like, listen,
Honestly,
I'm sorry,
I feel like that just happened in a dream. So
crazy,
I'm just
yeah?
sleeping over it.
Everyone is connecting. India and Bangladesh. Come on, bro. We've got Spotify opening everywhere in the world. Are you feeling all right? Come on, brother. This is the time right now.
Exactly what Rishi said. Music is global. And I feel like India being one of the biggest markets ever. Like, I feel like we have so much going on here. And just music needs to be global now. I mean, there are no bars on restrictions on collaborations. Like, sky's the limit. If you start actually feeling like that.
Yes, all right. I think the whole Desi like mentality, like I say Desi mentality, but I think there's nothing wrong with making 20 songs with each other. The people need to get this in your head. If you look at the mainstream, look at Chris Brown and Tyga done like 50 songs together. Like there's no rule on EPs or how much music you can put out together. Like there's no rule. People will listen and they're gonna keep listening and they're gonna keep listening. It's when you go to sleep for 6 months, you got a problem.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Man's got speakers behind me for a reason. You get me? It's real talk. It's real talk here.
No, very well.
We take over. We have to take over.
Well said. I think you're right. I think it's definitely true. I think it's about time as well. Like, I think the South Asian collaboration that we have with Galat Ho Geya is very important as well. I think it would be wonderful if maybe if Yash, Sukriti, and Mumzy, if you all could kind of just sing a few lines of Galat Ho Geya, I think it would be wonderful. It would be a wonderful treat, I think, for the viewers of Filme Shilmy. And yeah, so if you could please sing a few lines.
क्यों ऐसी वैसी बातें करता है क्यों पास आने से मेरे डरता है उठाए तेरे नखरे बच्चा बच्चा मेरे आते सीधा उठाए तेरे नखरे होना जो देगा तुमने के सीधा oh baby
you sing it, it's too high.
That's what you're getting, fam.
Yeah, my.
Easy, not all over the place.
Itna paisa mein itna ich milenga. That's basically as the saying goes in Hindi.
50 rupees. 50 rupees now.
200 rupees.
Yash, why don't you start singing from your part? We'll carry it forward. And we'll
Okay,
sing.
okay. उठाए तेरे नखरे बच्चा बच्चा मेरे उत्ते सीधा उठाए तेरे नखरे ओंदा जोंदा कितानी के सीधा ओ बेबी सुन गल मेरी अब रुक जा बहुत हो गया बे
Yeah,
तेरी अभी लगदी है मुझको तो ना तू खुद समझा दे है
समझ
मुझ पे फिक्र तेरी हर
लम्हा तो समझ जरा बे मैं चाहूं इतना भी तू मेरा बन जा मेरे कोल तू आवे उठाए
तू समझ न पाएगी मैं तो तुझसे हूँ तंग हो गया सना करे दिखाएगी जिस जाल में मैं खो गया गलत हो गया
Fantastic. Well, I think that was absolutely phenomenal. Sukriti, Rishi, Mumzy, Yash, thank you so much for joining me today on Filme Shilmy. I think this was an absolute stellar chat, and I think to have all of you together on one platform, I mean, for a song is huge as it is. But also for this interview, I think I'm just really grateful. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much. See you.
Lovely. Take care, guys. All the best.
Bye. Bye.